Hey, what's up, you guys? oldmps here with episode not 10. I think it's 10. Episode 10. I'm not completely sure. Don't. Even though I probably should know, I really don't. So, as you can see, we got this much of the track built, which is pretty nice. We got this little cannon man guy still working here, and the 90-degree turn. I'm gonna go ahead and test drive it real quick just to see how well it works. So, driving. Anyways, so I actually have a lot of subjects I get to cover today. I believe I come up with like 1,000 things to talk about to keep myself entertained. Oh wow, shit, that's not good. That was my own fault though, so I guess I can't be. That's not blamed on the track. That's just blamed on crappy driving by yours truly. But pretty much I got a lot of interesting topics to talk about. Hopefully, none of them related to Halo Reach, but it'll keep you entertained while I'm forging. So let's go ahead and check how the map works out so far. I still don't like how this cannon man pushes me to the edge, but it hasn't pushed me off yet, so I'm not gonna move it because don't fix it unless it's broke. No, if it's not, damn it, see what I mean? I can never say anything right. I remember actually did it right for like the first time the other day, and I was like, oh hell yeah. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Or no, like the whole old kind of saying is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Screwed. I'm not gonna try saying any accent. Anyways, my random subject to talk about today will be on cursing, since I've been seeming to have a lot of issues with trying not to curse throughout the video, and I finally figured something out. Cursing is like the greatest thing to do if you want to try to make your comedian act funny, and if it's televised. Because if you start cursing, and for some reason people find it so much more hilarious, like whenever there's a bleep instead of an actual curse word, because like the knowledge of knowing that you were intending on cursing, and you shouldn't have cursed, but the unfortunate fact that you did, people think that the joke was especially funny, even though it might have not been. So that's pretty much what I'm talking. Just look at it this way. You ever seen like the Messing with Sasquatch commercials? What if they changed it to like bleeping with Sasquatch? There we go. See, like, just change it to a bleep, and they like have like asterisks and stuff like that around it. So it's intended that it's saying bad word with Sasquatch. Not gonna try not to curse. See, being a good boy. But really, it wouldn't have been as funny if it was just the regular word instead of the actual bleep. But like the fact that it's bleeped out would just make it 10 times funnier, I think. And sure, it kind of ruins the fact to the audience that you were intending on giving it to. But really, you're giving it. I think if they had that kind of advertisement, that they'd get so much more attention. That because they're kind of advertising to a community that obviously curses a lot. They're kind of advertising to like the rednecks and the hunters and people who aren't afraid of cursing, not people who sit in proper office buildings. Because if you're sitting in an office building, you're eating beef jerky, people are gonna look at you kind of like you're stupid. Well, most of the time at least. I'm sure it'll be. It's nothing like completely out of place, but it's just something that I don't think a lot of people really do, honestly. So I really think that cursing is an easy way to kind of help advertise yourself better and to make your words stand out more, even if it's in a not so positive way. I think I'm turning this track a little bit too fast. I'll go ahead and finish the turn down and see how hard it is, and if it's sustainable, I might just add a shield door to a part of it. If it's not, then I'll just go ahead and delete it and make it smaller. But so that's really my opinion on that. Even though that's a completely random subject. But yeah, that should be something that would spark a conversation within yourself, to where you stop paying attention to this video for just long enough for me to get to another interesting conversation, because that was really all I have to say about that. Even though I did talk about it in my head for like 2 hours on the way here. Like, okay, I'm like weird like that. Like, I'll talk to myself in my head. I can entertain myself in my head for like 4 to 5 hours before I realize that I have nothing to really actually talk to people about. So I was just kind of doing that when I came up with this topic. I was like, oh well, that's an interesting topic, but because it's so true. Like in one of my videos, my YouTube videos I made for Okay, well, just look at it this way. Here's one thing I can all relate to. Is whenever I posted, what map was that? Coaster in a bottle. When I bleeped out the curse words, if I would have just said it, it wouldn't have been quite as big of a deal. But since I bleeped it out, it was so much funnier. It really was. Like, people started laughing at it and getting that it was just a joke. Even though some people thought, like, you're kind of arrogant by saying that. I'm like, what? It was supposed to be a joke, by the way. But I am the first person to build a freaking roller coaster inside of a bottle, and I don't think anyone can top that one. Because that was just, like, so freaking epic. I loved it so much. Even though the track itself could have been done much better. But I was kind of rushing it because I wanted to get a map out to you guys. And that was really it. I might go ahead and work on a video to put in between this, which would be my infection map, which I was supposed to put up a long time ago. The issue with the infection map is it's not really fun to play with unless you're playing it on, like, my custom game, which is called Clue. And in order to play Clue, you have to have everybody with their mics in order to... Well, sometime like an hour, I might as well just freaking talk about it. But, so I invented this game type called... Okay, first off, I'm going to say it first. I did not invent this game type. I'm the first person to create a successful version of it in Halo 3. Halo Reach, my bad. In Halo 3, they had a game type called Clue. It was like my absolute favorite game there was. It was so cool. What happens is that someone's god, and back then it was oddball. So, like, the person who was god would get the oddball. Sorry. Then everybody else and God would send a message to somebody and tell them to go kill X person, whoever they wanted. So everybody was like, pretty much, well, that doesn't sound right actually. It was more like, okay, so you'd message a person, somebody in the party, if you're God, and tell them that you were the killer. Okay, that is actually not that bad. I'm start picking that up now. That they were the killer. So if they were the killer, their objective would be to kill everybody in the party. So everybody in the party was always trying to find out who the killer was. And if you were the killer, you had to secretly go around and individually pick them off one by one. Or if they were in a big group, get like a heavy weapon such as a rocket launcher or so on, and then blow them up all the bits in one shot, which is the two most ideal factors. But throughout this, you have to make sure, you know, you don't you pretty much have to, like, once you die, you're not supposed to talk. I mean, people still talk, but they definitely, if you say, like, who killed you, you know, that's when it's like, you know, okay, you know, you're not supposed to say their name. Even though I've had it plenty of times. And whenever you get the message on Xbox Live, you don't know how many times this has happened, because, like, Sparky and I used to laugh at it all the time. They'll go like, oh, look, I've got a message. And they'll go check their message, and everybody's like, you're such an idiot. Because it's so obvious at that point that they're the killer, because they just got a message. So, that was how it worked. And then, you know, it took a large amount of strategy and working together. Like, the killer always had it a little bit easier, because the maps were always pretty large. So, you know, you could go off. Because, you know, nobody wanted to stay in a group. You always try to pick, like, a teammate to work together with, the hope that they weren't the killer. And if they were the killer, you'd get killed off pretty quick. So, and then that's why you'd always have a third person in a different group that you said, alright, if I die first, it's so-and-so. So that's how we always kind of played the game. So I decided to bring the game to Halo Reach. And the issue is that whenever you kill somebody, it states it on the side of the screen, saying, you know, such and such killed such and such. And it's like, well, I bet you I can guess who the killer is. So I found that that wasn't the greatest strategy of creating the game type. That's why it was never built in Halo Reach, because nobody could figure out how to get it to not say that. Well, I actually figured out how to do it. Pretty much you have to betray the people. So if you put them all on a team, then, you know, when you betrayed somebody, it was pretty obvious. Now, the second issue I ran into is that when you're on a team, everybody's little thing pops up, you know, oh, look, you know, you can see the location of everybody. So if you see two gamer tags in one spot, and all of a sudden one has a giant red X, you can kind of do the math that, you know, the killer is the other guy. So I had to find out a way to get rid of that. So you're not able to do that in Oddball. It's always mandatory. I found out you can do that in Infection, but then you always have the zombie. So I was like, damn it, you know, how do you get rid of the zombie? Then I realized that the zombie could be the place for God, so God would be random every single match. So that's kind of how the game works. It's really interesting. It's really fun. I always enjoyed it. So as you can see, I'm kind of banking this back up. So pretty much that's how I did on Halo Reach. So, you know, you still have to communicate with everybody. It's just that my map's kind of small. So if in order for the map to work, you have to... I mean, I'm hoping other people will start making Clue maps now once they find out that I figured out the game type, how to get it right. Because I I did like a search, like the file share search for the game, because I built the map before I built the game type. That's why I was kind of pissed off, and I was trying really hard to try to find a way to get the game type to work, and conveniently I did. So it was like, oh, piece of cake. So that was that. Nice long weird conversation that pretty much held me over for a good bit, for a good 6 or 7 minutes, I think. Good enough to where I could work my way down this part of the this portion of the map. So if I keep, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I'm planning on doing. So if I keep it like this, I'm really trying to hope that I can, like, it would be like a fast turn down. It'll go slow, and I'm gonna try weaving it up through the map, because like I said earlier, if you weave the map in and out of itself, it makes it seem much better. Well, it doesn't seem, it gives it like you pretty much get free aesthetics. You don't have to spend any money to make those kind of aesthetics, which is nice. So it fits, it's part of the track, and it is aesthetics. So, you know, it's aesthetically pleasing to see other portions of the map. I don't know why it is that way, but it actually really is true. Like, even I like it when you can, like, see the rest of the map. And I'm getting decent at driving this now, so I'm not dying every freaking 30 times in a row before I can get one decent run. This part's kind of accurate, which is kind of ironic. I know time's coming up to an end. Damn it. That was my own fault, actually. So, I should probably set the respawns to a different time. Alright, you guys, this is oldmps signing out. Remember to subscribe. I'm going to just go ahead and end it right here, because I might as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, even though there's pretty much nothing, really anything interesting I talked about except for random bull. And I'll see you guys next episode. Au revoir.